thanks for joining us. It's Sunday News Special. Welcome on board. I am Akaninyene Upong and
I am Patience John. Good evening.
Today happens to be the last Sunday in the first half of 2023, and maybe the reason people troop to churches and worship centers, some to thank God, appreciate Him for safekeeping, for providence, and the rest of the things. Patience, did you get to church today?
Yes, I was in church and it was awesome. The atmosphere was electric. Worshippers danced to the glory of God. They showed appreciation.
Did you join the dance?
Yes, I did. Trust me. I sang, I danced.
I sang in the choir as well today. It was a nice time in God's presence. God deserves our praise. There's nothing more we can do than to tell Him thank you. And so straight to the business of the day, the headlines. Governor Umoino celebrates Uyo Diocese Anglican cleric Bishop Asukwantai on retirement.
Expert tips on reading public spaces of the menace of body odor.
Residents count losses from epileptic public power supply in Uyo.
President Bola Tinubu expected in Lagos for Salah holiday.
These and other stories between now and 8:45 will keep you company. The reason you should not go away. Please stay with us.
Stay with us.
If you're just joining us, it's Sunday News Special. We move to the first story. Patient?
Yeah. How do you feel when someone sitting next to you smells funny or irritating? Are there ways they can be assisted? With physical contact in the workplace and society becoming unavoidable, interacting with people with this condition has become a social dilemma that requires urgent attention. Iadeno Paul in the following report sought opinion of a consultant dermatologist on how this anomaly can be tackled.
In often cases, people perceive unpleasant odor at the presence of arrival of other persons into their circle. Unfortunately, the said person may not be aware that he or she has caused a stir or caused a concern to others with this bad body odor. Body odor is a combination of sweat and bacteria normally found on the skin. It can be caused by underlying conditions such as poor hygiene, hot and humid weather, recent exercises, or eating certain foods such as onion, garlic, and other things. Body odor may be natural, sweet, sour, tangy, or onion-like, but this report centers on the sour and unpleasant body odor.
I was inside a keke. God, this man was smelling, he stink. He was smelling a lot. It was not a comfortable situation. I do experience public transport, so that doesn't allow other people to breathe well. Especially this our commercial tricycle or keke. You just enter keke and sit close to somebody, my dear, before you get to your destination. You will not be able to breathe well because of the body odor that the person is having. I just remove my kerchief and then try to cover my nose till I get to my destination.
Studies reveal that men have stronger body odor because they have more hair on their bodies and perhaps sometimes don't bathe regularly or wash their clothes on time, especially Andes.
The men, the boys, the guys, some 20s up, that the one that is having this body odor.
Which means my best
So, what causes an offensive body odor? According to a consultant dermatologist, Dr. Edison Igwereje,
body odor, or what we medically refer to as bronchidrosis, can arise from our personal skincare habits and medical skin conditions. Then also using skin bleaching products, because they alter the skin barrier and the skin function is also altered. This puts the user of this product at risk of developing things like infections, which could be fungal or bacterial. There is a wide range of medical skin conditions that can cause body odor. Most important are those of the disorders of the skin glands, which could be oily or sweat glands.
Notably, body odor can also be as a result of overweight, genetics, infectious diseases, kidney problems, overactive thyroid, food, menopause, gout, and diabetes. How can it be prevented or cured? A family physician in the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital and President Resident Doctors Dr. Margaret Egalunise hints that treatment depends on the underlying causes of the offensive body odor, which can be determined through physical examination, blood or urine test.
Body odor is not spiritual. Body odor is a physical thing, like I mentioned. It comes out of your body. Your hands, thigh, legs, your anus, even the vagina, you have the skin. Okay, you could get rid of the body odor by first starting with your personal hygiene. At least take your bath twice a day. Use antiseptic soaps when taking your bath. Then consume a lot of fruits. Take plenty of fruits. And then there are sometimes, even when you do all of this to stop the odor will still persist. In such situations, you could go for surgery.
The health expert stressed personal hygiene, so it is important to keep the skin clean. Take a bath with antibacterial soap. Focus on the areas people sweat most. Keep the armpits shaved. Wash clothes regularly and wear clean clothes. Use a good antiperspirant and find ways to reduce stress.
Breathe. Passenger say breathe. Environment. Please, no matter how hard life is, roll on. At least if you use roll on, it will reduce the body odor. So that somebody sitting close to you in a public transport or in a general environment can breathe very well.
So while going out, I think you should have your bath in the morning. So same way no government and maybe even industry unam perfume being spiritually family members could have government and on thing and body order but body order can fuel subsidy
baking soda, green tea, apple cider, vinegar and lemon juice can also help get rid of body odor, according to research. It is good business to smell good at all times to avoid embarrassment and boost self-confidence. Remember to consult a doctor if yours is not related to personal hygiene. Dress well and smell good. Iyageno Paul, A. Kebisenius.
Body odor, a public nuisance. It is particularly awful when you happen to maybe sit with someone who has body odor in a public transport. You discover that everyone would be poking their noses outside the car window to have fresh air. And ways to notice it. You who has this issue, when you enter a car, maybe they had wound up the car with AC. The moment they stop to give you a lift, they wind down. Something's wrong with you. Or you enter an office, fully conditioned office. Immediately you enter to sit down, they say, okay, please open the windows, open the doors. There's an issue there. So it's a matter of personal hygiene.
Yes, actually, sadly, most of these, do I describe them as victims? They seem not to know that that's the problem. they have. Like you said, I agree with you, though I am not an authority, but I think it has to do with personal hygiene, bathing regularly and washing your clothes, putting on things that are clean, because I can imagine when one keeps on putting on dirty clothes, it could lead to bacterial, it could affect you.
The reason someone should, if you're going to put on an underwear, sniff it. If it smells of sweat, please drop that one, because that is what someone who passes you on the road will, perceive. Again, like you've talked about personal hygiene, it's particularly difficult in children, because I think parents have a duty. Educate your boy child, your girl child on personal hygiene.
Yeah.
Those up to the age of puberty, teach them how to clean their pubic hair and all that, to make them clean. And the men, there's this report we had, I think 2 weeks ago, on boxers.
Yeah.
Don't repeat boxers, men. Women, the bra, you need to change them, because that is what someone will perceive. And do you know that the nostrils smells?
Yeah.
Some people don't know they need to wash it when bathing in the morning. It could bring bad breath.
Yes.
And people will desert you. Wherever you enter, people shy away from you.
So the report aims at letting us know that there is need to observe personal hygiene. Wear clothes that are clean and neat, because you could be attacked by bacteria if you keep repeating clothes that are dirty. And of course, you may come down with body odor even without your knowledge.
And when you keep those clothes, when you wash them, ensure you put them out in the sun. Make sure it's dry, because some wet clothes that are not really dry do smell as well.
Yes.
And then buy roll-on, deodorant, and other things to help yourself, pimp yourself up, and be nice in public. All right, we move on to electricity matters. Electricity has been described as one of the world's most impactful inventions and utility due to its crucial role on basically every aspect of daily living. Given its importance, residents of Uyo Metropolis and its environs have called for the restructuring of the power sector to better support environmental and socio-economic sustainability. Margaret Bassi reports.
Electricity, as an essential necessity of everyday living, provides a wide range of domestic, industrial, and economic advantage to make life meaningful and productive. Notwithstanding its essence, it is one of Nigeria's most troubled sector, with decades of power failure attributed to non-settlement of electricity bill, poor funding of the sector, infrastructural decay, theft of installations, damage of transmission lines, and overloading of distribution transformers, according to respondents.
For 1 week plus now, incessant interruption intermittently.
You can't go this story now, story.
I mean, no go kiting and you can't say you about the kiting and go you are free.
I mean, down them big one. You got it. That's all your own one. This way now in tune. I will transform again in front. So they are capable of getting the transformer or the win and magana. The electronics and I go for Obiama. I will use them for that number of years. Electricity condition in Eket is, I would say, is okay, and they take it maybe within 3-4 hours. They take it and you see them bringing it back. So we've not had issue of electricity, though it depends on the area. Longer ones. Even anything,
poor electricity supply can result to failure of business as well as rapid decline in social amenities like availability of potable drinking water and improved healthcare services. Although there are other sources of power, such as the generator and solar energy, their cost implication and related health hazards, especially the release of carbon monoxide, are a cause for concern. High tariff and low voltage are some of the threats to the reliability of power supply as presented by consumers.
But if I was in Ampo, if I was in anything, we don't know what's the problem. So at least government will be on the same all those kind of things. It's terrible. Right now, we are badly hit. In fact, turning on your private generator is a luxury.
Like 10 ton or 15 ton get with that. We can pay a man is your bill. We in charge phone. We just get the game in charge. We can live over them because it can be a system leverage.
Accordingly, a reliable and sufficient supply of electricity has been recommended to serve expected demands, even as respondents requested government intervention and redeployment of more holistic approaches to remedy challenges of poor power supply.
We are begging government to put in place alternatives to at least alleviate the suffering of the masses. I mean, government authority and the young one. We don't reduce a corridor, and I will gonna enjoy because we must go big and go for the beginning. I own him. But the facilities being used, even by power holders, are government facility. But if they can allow individuals to come in, private sectors to come in, some of them will go as far as of getting their own power plants. So it will help and bring competition and subsidize the whole thing.
Effort made to speak with the head of corporate communications of Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company proved abortive, but from an anonymous source, the company is experiencing infrastructural breakdown as an alternative extension previously used has been threatened by overload, resulting to the disconnection of some areas to preserve the asset. The source expressed the hope that on the arrival of the replacement, power will be restored to the areas affected with prolonged outage. Margaret Bassi, AKBC News.
Electricity supply situation in Uyo and its environs. I discovered that recently, at least in the past 2 weeks, some areas boast of up to 20 hours supply, while some don't even have in days and weeks on end. And according to that report, the importance of power cannot be overemphasized, particularly now that fuel subsidy has been removed. It is difficult to run life on generator, particularly for the barbers, the hairdressers, and all other artisans. They'll be using the gain from their businesses to run the gen, and at the end of the day, go home empty-handed. What about the rent of the shop and all other things they have to do to help themselves? So I think power is really important, and it's necessary that PHED does something to, make every area have power.
We are even also looking at the federal government to take the bull by the horn. Nigerians have suffered for too long, like we've heard in the report. Power is very important. It helps small scale industries to grow businesses. A lot of people depend, if you don't mind, over 90% dependence on power. Power is almost like water, everything. So there is need for government to look at that axis, that aspect, and make sure that Nigerians at least enjoy power. And the issue of vandalism of transformers and armored cables, that's another issue. And I think communities also have a role to play in terms of protecting these installations, maybe by way of organizing vigilante groups, because at the end of the day, when these equipments are vandalized, they are still the ones to contribute money and buy. And then those using the estimated billings, PHED is not even helping. It's not fair. It's not fair, because they're even giving the kind of bills that exorbitant bills, high, and it's not commensurate with the voltage of power they're giving out. So even when you don't have power for like 2 weeks, you see them come up with the bill. How do they get the bill? Even how do they arrive at that? Even in months, even in years, they don't care. The bill keep coming, and it's not good. That's what Nigerians are crying. Low voltage, high non-availability at all. It's a big.
But one thing I thank God for is the signage of the electricity bill, where states can now generate, transmit, and distribute their power, and even give excess to other states for economic gains. That one is perfect. I think Akwa Ibom will get that.
Yes, that's the hope of the people, that that time will certainly come to be.
All right, we move to the next story.
All right, the next story is on Mary Slessor. Remember her? In immortalizing one of the early missionaries who promoted Christianity in Nigeria and stopped the killing of twins, a former commissioner for agriculture, Dr. Glory Ede, has built and handed over a chapel to the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria, Ikorobong in Ibionibom local government area. Christened the Mary Mitchell Slessor Chapel, the edifice is built where the missionary died in Usei Ikoroko, Ibionibom. Yayanopo report on the handing over event and reason for the donor's gesture.
In 1876, a Scottish missionary by name Mary Mitchell Slessor came to Nigeria at the age of 28, landed the then Calabar, did her missionary job, and later settled in Itu in 1904. Known as the White Queen of Okoyong and Mambakara, Mary Slessor, after traversing the present-day Akwa Ibom state, including Ikbeikonkon, in a local government area, built schools, churches, hospitals, stopped the killing of twins, and stayed in Usei Ikoroko till her death on January 15, 1915. These numerous good works done by Mary Slessor may have prompted many people, including the former Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Glory Ede, to find ways of immortalizing her. This, Dr. Ede did by building and donating a chapel in Mary Slessor's name to Presbyterian Church of Nigeria.
I accept this bill taken out of funds committed unto us, the registered trustees of the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria.
On behalf of the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria and our trustees, I accept the key in token of the trust committed unto us.
Addressing the Presbyterian Church members, Aqua Synod, and guests who attended the dedication of Mary Slessor Chapel, Dr. Glory Ede said her grandfather lived with Mary Slessor along two other men in Ikbeikonkon for years, and that Ma Slessor, as she was told, impacted the area positively. She donated a generating set to the chapel and promised to pay the salaries of the chaplain there and other staff for 2 years.
So Mary Slessor lived there. My grandfather lived with her. And of course, she did so many things. She built, established so many churches in Ipe Parish. And when we grew up, I told myself and our family, because from time to time we used to discuss about Mary Slessor. And I told God, it's a dream of many years, that by the special grace of God, if we have any opportunity, we will do something in memory of Mary Slessor. And today I want to thank God because the dream has been fulfilled.
Dr. Kaniere Campo, who supervised the chapel project, thanked the Usei Ikoroko community for giving them the needed support.
And also thank God that throughout the period we worked in this place, this place is a difficult terrain to do construction work. But God saw us through.
Other guests to grace the occasion thanked Dr. Glory Ede for such gesture and donated for the upkeep of the edifice.
I want to believe the man that will be here will take care of this place, will have to live in this place.
Congratulations, Dr. Glory Ede and your whole family. When I heard that you're going to dedicate and donate a chapel, it touched my heart really, because whatever you do for God is eternal. The blessings are in this life and in the life to come.
A good product. That is Dr. Glory.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ma, thank you. But coming today to see this digital building is a great thing. She has left a legacy.
And to is somebody that is known for his acts. Service to God and humanity. She's a model to us. She's a material to us. I don't know if she did not come where I can today.
In a sermon on the theme, What Legacy Will You Leave Behind?, the prelate of the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria and moderator of the General Assembly, His Eminence Dr. Ekpeyon Okpanika, charged Christians to emulate Mary Slessor, who after 108 years of her death is still celebrated, and saluted Dr. Gloria Oded for her magnanimity of immortalizing the female legend.
Today we are celebrating the legacy of Mary Slessor, a woman who lived, who had no child, who had no house. What immortalizes a man is not what he does for himself, but what he does for others.
The event featured thanksgiving, prayer for the donor, and dedication of the chapel.
What Mary Mitchell Slessor, a missionary who came to Nigeria and died in 1915 due to humanity, is worth emulating, as exemplified by Dr. Gloria Oded. From Ose Ikoroku, the village where Mary Slessor died,
Mary Slessor, born December 2, 1848, and died on January 13, 1915, a Scottish Presbyterian missionary to Nigeria. She came in, learned how to speak Efik language, and with her popularity and personality, she was quickly accepted by the people so that she could start what she came to do. You know, apart from propagating the gospel of Jesus Christ, he was famous, or she was famous, for her role in helping to, stop the common practice of killing twins, especially in Okoyong in Cross River State.
Yes, for Mary Slessor, nothing is too much to be done in her memory. This is a woman who left her hometown, her nativity, and came down to Nigeria, where she lived all her life. And she didn't just come, she came with a mission to stop the killing of twins, and glory to God, she succeeded. And today, if you agree with me, a whole lot of couples are yearning for twins, triplets. It wasn't so before now. They were killed, banished, thrown into the bush, but today they're being celebrated, all because of the efforts of Mary Slessor.
And she was not only in Cross River State, she traversed all the coastal areas, including Itu, parts of Ibiono, where she finally died in Ose Ikoroku in Ibionibum. She also, apart from fighting for the sustenance of twins, abolishing the killing of twins, she also fought for the rights of widows in the society.
Yes, she was a great woman. She stood up for women, and thank God what she did has paid off today. So we keep celebrating.
And we need so much of this kind of women in our society, and we need men of such women. Someone like the immediate past Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Gloria, who put up that beautiful edifice to further immortalize Mary Slessor. That's commendable, very commendable.
She has done well, Dr. Gloria.
All right, so far so good. We now take a break. When we return, more stories continue. Stay with us. You're welcome back to the second lap of our program, our news program, Sunday News Special. Retirement is worth celebrating when one survives the hectic demands of his or her office in situations that have affected others. Those were excerpts from the speech of the Governor, Pastor Moeno, during the Episcopal Thanksgiving service commemorating the birthday and retirement of Bishop of the Uyo Diocese of the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion of the Cathedral of All Saints, Bishop Asukwa Edet Antai, and wife, Victoria. Urakekong takes the story from here.
Congratulating Bishop Antai on his meritorious retirement, Pastor Moino said his presence at the service was his way of identifying with a man who had made enormous contributions to the body of Christ, appealing to him to continue to play a fatherly advisory role in the interest of the state.
But you are not retiring from playing the major advisory role for your people in the environment state. And so, like the Bishop prayed, you are now going to be the fathers of faith community to keep counseling and advising us on the way to go and how to go about it. So we want to thank you.
Governor thanked the church for rallying around him in the build-up to the elections and solicited for prayers from the Christian fold for his administration to succeed.
And I'd like to thank this church specifically for the wonderful work we did. I don't think there's been any time in the history of this state that the church moved and spoke so loudly. It was very overwhelming, like Christian love. And by the grace of God, we promise God that we will not disappoint the church.
The governor launched Bishop Antai's book and assisted the celebrator and his wife Victoria in cutting their celebration cake at the service, which featured a special rendition from the children's department of the church and thanksgiving by Bishop Antai and his family.
But I can say at this time
Governor Moino later attended the dedication of the twin children of the chairman of Ibionibub Local Government Council, Mr. Kobi Moedet, Abasiofon and Abasiakara.
We need to celebrate when God blesses us. And we can see that twins runs in the family, and we thank you to celebrate. We like what is happening. We pray that God will give you grace and give you strength and answer your prayers so that the community will continue to have the best that God has destined for them.
Mr. Kobi Moedet and guests at the ceremony, including the chairman of Algon, joined the family in thanksgiving.
My eyes have seen His salvation, the Lord's salvation. God has made us to swim in His ocean of love. God has kept us from the beginning to this day.
And until you have this kind of experience, you will not understand what it means to have your baby or your babies delivered without issues.
Today, God has been so kind to bless our government chairman with double honor.
Uduakeko, AKBC News.
Retirement service of Bishop Asukwa Edet Antai. Retirement is a period of rest after years of service to God and humanity. Again, whether in private or public life, one has to plan ahead, because life after retirement can be sweet or difficult depending on planning.
I can imagine the joy of the clergyman as he retires after putting so many years in the Lord's vineyard. I also want to thank the church for putting up that celebration, because if you are close to any man of God, you know it's not easy. It's not an easy task. We also want to thank God for him that he has retired in good health and alive.
And the ceremony coincided with his birthday. We also have to, thank his wife, Victoria, for the support. Because before a man of God succeeds, without a good wife, you cannot. So we also thank her for giving her that support throughout his years in service as in the vineyard of God and all that.
And it is a plus that even the governor was there to grace the occasion.
Exactly. And so we wish them a happy retirement life.
Okay, running to the next story. The recent move by the Akwa Ibom State government to provide for the state an acceptable and more comprehensive mapping has elicited widespread reactions of the several, that of the National Assembly member representing Andoni Opobo Nkoro Federal Constituency in Rivers State has been described as a meddlesome attempt to sensationalize the matter. This was the position of the coalition of Aboriginal coastal local government areas of Esleke, Ona, Nkbarinin and Ikorobasi, which is calling on the state government to increase security presence in the coastal communities to forestall breakdown of law and order.
Addressing newsmen in Uyo on Friday, the president of the coalition, Dr. Samuel Udonsak, condemned the destruction of lives and property in Ikorakpanudo in Ikorabasi, as well as coconut plantation in Eastern Obolo and skirmishes in Esrura, Eket local government area. Flanked by members of the group, Dr. Udonsak read out historical facts and court judgments on the subject matter, which recognizes the ownership of the entire coastline of the state as having been determined in perpetuity by various apex courts as far back 1918. Describing the dissenting voices against government plans as divisive, he said the Aboriginal coastal areas were not against those conversing for Ijaw or Obolo states, but stressed that no Ibibio Aboriginal land would be part of such a movement.
The coalition would like to inform the unsuspecting public that the ownership of the entire Akwa Ibom State coastline has been determined in perpetuity by various apex courts, some as far back as 1918. Akwa Ibom State has never been mapped before, and we agree that this exercise is the constitutional responsibility of the state, and believe that this will bring an end to the returning, chronic, and perennial conflicts emanating from lack of official boundaries between some local governments in the state, especially along our Atlantic coastline.
Some local government council chairmen of the affected areas, as well as other critical stakeholders, pitched their position in favor of the ongoing mapping, berated the meddlesomeness of the Rivers State National Assembly member, and acknowledged previous court rulings on the controversial matters.
In their defense, did not claim ownership of the land when they withstood my back. They did not say they own the land. They pleaded non-possession. You can possess what does not belong to you. So there is a clear difference between ownership and possession.
I have seen the Eastern people, particularly bring homages to my father, to my village, to my family. I have seen it many times. And I challenge you again, go to Igbo, it's a fishing community, isn't it? But where is your mountains? Go to Ogorode, the headquarters of this people, what ask them, what is your big mountain that people sense to speak as a local of what ask them?
Nobody should talk about BIA. If a man says that his land has been encroached upon, the man should tell me what portion of his land has been encroached upon. Akwa Ibom State is made up of villages that are under clans and under local government areas. For instance, I am one of our in Israel. If any part of Israel has been touched, then not be able to tell you where. Just like I told you in Elbow, there's been an attempt on Elbow.
The Coalition of Aboriginal Coastal Local Government Areas thanked the House of Assembly, the immediate past governor of the state, and the Surveyor General for the official map to end the perennial conflicts in some local governments over boundaries on the Atlantic coastline.
The mapping of Akwa Ibom State, and in that report, I think many other communities apart from the coastal areas need sensitization, and again they also need much of security presence there. Recently, you know of the skirmishes between the Ikorakpo community in Ikorabasi and some communities in Eastern Obolo, leading to the destruction of the coconut plantation. I think the solution to this problem, according to our governor, Umoino, is to seek redress in court.
Yeah.
Because going to destroy the plantation, it does not only belong to government. We own it. It belongs to everyone. So don't vent your anger or frustration or whatever happens on anyone. You seek redress in court, and the governor has said so. And this destroying things is not the solution to the problem.
It hampers development.
Of course.
Yes, and you know, recently news emanating from that crisis is very disturbing. Like we've always advocated, it's good to seek redress. You feel there are areas that concerns you need to address or need to be addressed, just go to court and let the court decide. It doesn't make sense killing fellow
or taking laws into your hands.
Let's hope that within the shortest possible time, peace,
things will normalize.
Yes, will return to
Akwa Ibom is a peaceful state, and we have to ensure we maintain that. All right, to raise awareness on the challenges widows face, and in a bid to protect and promote their rights, the United Nations has set aside June 23 annually to celebrate International Widows' Day. The theme for this year, which was observed on Friday, is Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. Juliet Richard takes a look at the import of the celebration.
Widows' Day. The day is observed to highlight the struggles of widowhood and to amplify their voices with regards to poverty, biases, and injustice.
My uncle died. The family took out everything from that woman. The woman remained empty till now. She's suffering a lot.
I have a friend. When the father died, they threw them out.
I've seen a person who, just because he wanted to have an affair with the stepmother, and when the woman resisted, he drove the woman away from the compound.
Despite the fact that there are more than 258 million widows around the world, widows have historically been left unseen, unsupported, and unmeasured in our societies. Experience from the past shows that widows are often denied rights of inheritance after the death of their partners, coupled with extreme stigmatization and discrimination. With single mother families and single old women already vulnerable to poverty, what help can they get?
The traditional leader should also put in place certain traditional laws prohibiting same at their own level. There should be some sort of punitive measures meted out on persons who tend to discriminate widows or take undue advantage of them. Even a widows will condemn more in every angle. So the hero more, even more, I am made bang more. And I try to my yen.
Even if by Riva tomorrow, Riva Bond, the
The day provides opportunities for action towards achieving full rights and recognition for widows. These include providing them with information and access to fair share of their inheritance. Empowering widows to support themselves and their families also means addressing social stigmas that create exclusion and discriminatory or harmful practices. Furthermore, what action can the government take to uphold widows' commitment to ensure their rights as enshrined in the international law?
Some widows could not even inherit anything when they didn't even have a male child. If they happen to have all female children, they were disenfranchised from their inheritance. So if there would be a law to guide and protect widows, I will appreciate it. And then in our society today, people tend to look at widows as vulnerable people. Yes, most of them, their relatives or their husband relatives have taken the family properties. He's leaving this widow with nothing. A law should be made that will be aimed at protecting the interests of the widow. It should also be some incentive, from the Ministry of Women Affairs.
Beyond the establishment of laws and actions, it is pertinent to organize programs, policies, and activities to help alleviate poverty, illiteracy, and other supportable measures to widows of all ages and accelerate attainment of sustainable development goals. Widows must not be left out of work to build back better. It is pertinent to ensure that recovery on the innovation and technology for gender equality prioritizes their unique needs and supports societies to be more inclusive, resilient, and equal for all. In Akwa Ibom State, laws on the prohibition of obnoxious practices against widows as well as provisions of the Nigerian Constitution protect widows, as explained by the Chairman, Customary Court, Akwa Ibom State Judiciary, Mrs. Abasiono Emma.
That law is for widows. So don't let anybody trample on your rights because your husband is dead. That law, you will see provisions that say you shouldn't even be made to sleep in the same room with a corpse. Those obnoxious practices, you should not be made to wear a special kind of clothes because your husband is dead. Those oppressive customs, that law prohibits those customs. Don't sit and say, Negewo, get up, go to court. Justice will definitely be done in.
Juliet Richard, AKBC News.
Widows in some families and communities have suffered a lot. Shortly after the death of their spouse, they are exposed to so many torturous experiences, including shaving of the hair. Some of them are put in confinement, no food. They don't allow them to bathe for days and without food and water. And sometimes at the end of the day, they bathe the body or the corpse of the husband and give them to drink. That's dehumanizing. But I thank God in Akwa Ibom State, the widows' rights law, and all these women need is sensitization to know where to go and seek for help.
Yes, the VAB law is very protective of widows, especially in Akwa Ibom, that law has been domesticated. We widows need our support. They are human like us, just that life happens. Society should stop those practices that are harmful to them. And the church here also has a part to play. Yes. The church should sensitize members on how widows should be treated. The family members, they should allow them even mourn their spouses and face their lives instead of placing on unnecessary conditions on them. And the church also, as one of the biblical teachings, they should cater for the widows.
Widows are supposed to be taken care of.
Yes, they need support, financial support, legal support, emotional support. So women in our society should be taken off. Identify one widow and ensure she feels better.
If you're victimized or dehumanized, run to FIDA, Federation of Female Lawyers, FIDA, or the Gender-Based Violence Committee in the Ministry of Justice, among other groups, for help. All right,
even Nawuch is
okay.
ready. Yes, it's
all right, let's take one more story for the road.
Okay. This is on national. Bearing any last-minute change, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will return to the country on Tuesday, a day before the Salah celebrations, and expected to spend the holiday in Lagos State. According to the source, an advance team has already been dispatched ahead of the president's arrival. On Friday, Tinubu concluded his official trip to Paris, during which he participated in the summit for a new global financing pact hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron. The presidents at the summit held high-profile sideline meetings with fellow heads of state and government, global business leaders, and chief executives of leading multilateral and development finance institutions from around the world. He was initially scheduled to be back in Abuja Saturday, but proceeded to London, United Kingdom, for a short private visit. The presidential media aide Dele Alake had announced in a statement on Saturday that Tinubu will be back in the country in time for the Eid al-Kabir festival, slated for Wednesday.
And we are using this opportunity to wish all Muslim faithful a happy Eid al-Kabir celebration. This is where we draw curtains on today's presentation.
Thank you for being a part of the presentation.
And from all of us here, good night.
Good night.